This is a message from your guides reading for Earth and space. Okay, so I have two crystals here, and I'm going to go ahead and surround us in some protective space with my sunstone. Okay, I've got a guide coming up pretty intensely. I'm going to go over these crystals. Okay, so this is the one that I pulled for you for your reading. This is Sunstone, like I said, and it mainly corresponds with the solar plexus chakra, but also the sacral, and even to a degree, sometimes the root, I feel like. So this helps a lot with ambition, achieving things, personal power, also grounding, and it feels like respecting yourself as well, setting boundaries, setting proper boundaries. That's something coming in. And then I have my lapis lazuli. So this is for all of the rest of the monthlies that I'm doing today. So this is a throat chakra stone and a third eye chakra stone. So psychic abilities, intuition, creativity, willpower, expressing yourself, being who you are, knowing who you are. Those are all things with the lapis lazuli. So this is definitely a male energy coming up for sure. And kind of feels like a master guide, actually. He also feels connected to almost feels like the elements in some way. There's almost a feeling like hot and cold, or like fire and ice. Even fire and water type of thing. Or the way that you almost think of like fire and water as opposites, but he's not using water, he's using ice. And there's a feeling of like hot and cold, or like winter and summer kind of thing. Feels like he especially resonates with the heat though, and like solar types of energies, it feels like. And I'm kind of feeling both hot and cold at the same time right now. Okay, so what do you have to say? Okay, so there's a feeling like speaking up, but it feels more like to the universe. And stating your affirmations to the universe, and it feels like trusting. It almost feels like blindly trusting. And trusting in things that are positive. Really feeling out what is good for you. So not just some fantasy, even though on the one hand he's saying to be blindly positive, but at the same time, he doesn't mean blindly trust in something that isn't going to be tangible or can't really come into physical reality. So at the same time, there's a feeling of being practical in a way, something that you know that you could see in the physical reality, that you could co-create with your guides and the universe. But at the same time, be impractical by letting your fears and your worries go and just trusting completely, even if there isn't any evidence for it right away. Trusting completely in the divine, and also that you are divine and that you are creating. That you're creating the things that you would prefer. So he's saying to trust in them, be positive, have faith. At the same time, be practical. At the same time, let it be something that's realistic enough to you. Because if it isn't, that can even get in the way. It needs to be something that you can wholeheartedly trust in. So he's saying to choose something small, or he's saying small-ish. It doesn't have to be really small, but small enough at first for you to really grab hold of it, like the idea of it, and really grab onto it in the sense of you're fully believing in it. You're fully believing that it's possible, that it's going to come to you, that it's achievable. He's saying that this is something to work on, valuing yourself. This means setting boundaries with other people, but then also with yourself, in the way of, he's saying, all of your beliefs. As he's saying that if you tend to have negative beliefs in any area, he's saying, because he's saying it's not like every area that you have this, but in any area that you do tend to think in a negative way, you're going to get more negativity in that area. So he's talking about almost flushing out old beliefs, and he's even almost, that is one thing about ice, almost symbolically, you can think of it as something that's kind of rigid and it's stuck, it doesn't move, it's frozen, and so heat melts it into water. So water is something that will flow, and it can be flushed out. Water helps to flush toxins out. So he's talking about flushing out old beliefs. Going within and breathing and just asking what old beliefs are there that you can remove, that need to be removed, he's saying, in order to make your life better. What are those beliefs? And be willing to look at anything that you have, be willing to look at all of them. And whatever your guides might say or whatever might come to you, also it feels like anything, notice anything that triggers you, it feels like, during your day. But the thing to mainly look out for, it feels like, are fears. So that's what he's meaning specifically. He's not so much talking about other emotions, like maybe somebody says something to you and you feel angry or sad or something like that. You can notice those definitely, and that can be helpful as well. But it feels like mainly, especially try to notice your hidden fears, he's saying, and notice those triggers. Notice if somebody says something to you and you get anxious, or you feel afraid in some way, even if you don't know what it is or why it's triggering that. Or it doesn't even have to be somebody saying something to you. Maybe you walk into a room or something and you feel nervous in some way, or you feel anxious or fearful in some way. And it might be subtle. There's a feeling like that. It might be subtle. But it feels like to try and notice those, because it feels like all the things that he's talking about, they feel like somehow they go back to fears in some way. If you feel like you can't sometimes manifest certain things, it feels like really it goes back to some kind of hidden fear. And he's saying that if you pay attention to them, if you take notice of all of your fears and you pay attention to them, then they can't be hidden anymore because you're very aware of them. So they can't hide anymore, and so then you're able to flush them out and to remove them. So he's saying that this is something that would be really good for you and really helpful for you. He's also saying that he's going to help you with it. And I feel like with his energy, his specific energy, he can do that very well. And I feel like that's something that he's able to do, is get rid of something that's stuck, get it to flow again. With all this solar energy that he has specifically. Okay, so that is all that your guide has to say for this reading. So thank you very much, Earth and Space, for allowing me to do this reading for you. I truly hope that it benefits you. As always, namaste.